Poverty strips one of the legitimacy to call oneself a human. There isn't anything worse than being black, than being poor or black in a capitalist society. Now imagine being both. The relationship between business and human rights in South Africa is not a contemporary relation. It draws back from the colonization of the natives through the creation of racial capitalism. The idea was that black people were not human enough to firstly participate in the economy of the country, and secondly to be economically viable. As a result of the major economic decision and policy changes were made on behalf of black people and poor people without their consent, without consultation. The president of Abatlani Basam Jondolo, Sbuzikoto, Apleti said, everyone wants to talk about the poor, but now no one wants to talk to the poor. Yeah. Yes. They talk about poverty and so on, but they don't talk to us. Consultation is the backbone of our constitutional democracy. I always find it weighed every time I have to refer to the 1996 constitution as our constitutional, as it is not a constitution for black people. Several studies and participation discuss the constitution shortfall and failures of being just a constitution. When the constitution was negotiated, the National Party sent out a referendum to their white populace to request them to represent them in their CODESA negotiations. The ANC in turn assumedly appointed itself as the supreme spokesperson for the black people and went to represent them without their consent. The results of this negotiation was this: the PAC rightfully pointed out profit before people and the protection of business over the poor and marginalized people. This has led to the perpetuation of white supremacy, anti-blackness. The black and the poor people cannot talk for themselves. They must be spoken for, decided for, and negotiated for. In the case of concerning the Traditional and Khoisan Leadership Act, the Constitutional Court reiterated that public consultation is an important pillar of our constitution dispensation, and as such, people who are affected by the bill must be afforded sufficient time and opportunity to take representation and inputs during the legislative process. In Maledu, the same principle was enunciated. However, today the Portfolio Committee on Mineral Resources and Energy is doing what they call public consultation through a mimic of a process where they transport their own members into the venues to accept the bill, do not have and understand, while they don't even understand what the majority of the people remain upset and rejected. In the contemporary South Africa, business thrives as the present day colonizers. Business continues to reject black people in favor of white people, and particularly white men, thus rejecting the idea of equality that the Constitution has envisaged. Business continues to profit above the lives of the black people. We saw it in Marikana when they gunned down the black people in broad daylight, in front of the media, in the whole world was watching. To date, no one has been held accountable in the issues of Marikana people that were killed. Business continues in their profit drive quest while families of the Marikana 34 remain in their squalor. In the contemporary South Africa, mining companies continue to extract resources and profits in communities that are homes of black people, and where the people experiences the worst forms of condition due to the mining companies. Yet these poor communities do not benefit anything of these mines. Bear in mind, these companies are obliged by law to firstly mitigate their impact on the lives and the livelihood of the people who are mostly affected by their activities. Only in a banana and capitalist republic like South Africa, when business thrives above human rights, these companies continue unabatedly violate the dignity of our people and break various laws without any consequences. In a place called Mapila in Limpopo province, a mine called Maharukana mine does blasting, and unfortunately or fortunately they did this while we were in the area. This blasting is so scary to an extent that it feels like an earthquake. With 2 minutes after the blasting, the entire area was enscathed in smoke to the point that you cannot even see anything. There have been several attempts to raise this issue with the mine, but they remain disinterested. Why are they doing this? Because they have expensive lawyers to represent them against these poor communities if any legal issues is to be raised. Business, together with its allies, corporate laws firms and profit-driven firms, have proven wise who spoke about the need for radical lawyers in a contemporary South Africa. Zigora said that these are the lawyers who are going to use their degrees to change the society. The playing field is not level. The poor have very few avenues to explore when their rights are violated. That said, maybe we should borrow from Joseph Mathunjwa in this address to the Marikana protests the day before the massacre. He said, "Comrades, these people do not care about you. To them, you are just a number. They will kill you today and replace you tomorrow, and nothing will happen to you." And this is his clear indication of the relationship between the poor communities and business. Patriarchy and misogyny continue unabated, supported and promoted by institutions and systems of oppression. Women continue to suffer at the hands of men. South Africa remains the epicenter of femicide across the world. It is the democracy we fight for. It is this that they call freedom. For years now we have marched to DMRE, Mind and Parliament in an attempt to listen to the marginalized, affected communities, engage with them and include in the key decision-making processes. But our cries fell on the deaf ears. However, all they do is to come out with their fancy suit and accept memorandum for the sake of publicity. But the truth is that these people never listen to us. These people do not care about us. So today, comrades, do you think they deserve this speech? Do you think they deserve this information? Let's see what we do. Poverty is at the peak, at the highest. We demand change. We demand to be listened. And we demand free, prior, informed consent. We demand for the complete overhaul of MPRDA. In the essence of all we demand for is inclusion. That's too much to ask, especially when the bills allow mining companies to constitutionally scar of our land with shovels and tippers, leaving our land exposed and barren. So, comrades, we will not deliver this memorandum to them today. We will not relegate this march today as a mere memorandum hanging over. However, this is the true state of our nation. We continue to be exploited by the mines. Affected communities, women continue to be excluded and disbarred from participating in the key decision-making processes as stakeholders. So, comrades,